Greetings all, Ferrariman 601 here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and welcome to Baltimore. We're here at BWI today, and we're going to do a flight up to Montreal, Canada. We're doing this for a couple of reasons. One, the 787, as you see here, has gotten a bit of an update native to Flight Sim. This is not necessarily a review of the updated 787 because I don't know nearly enough about the specifics of this airplane to go into what's the same, what's different, and why is this better or worse, but it is different, and you will see in due course that it is substantially different, particularly from the cockpit. However, we are also doing this flight today because those of you who live in the northern United States, particularly the northeastern United States, will have undoubtedly been aware of the wildfire situation going on in eastern Canada, and the smoke from said fires has been impacting the eastern seaboard rather significantly. Therefore, we're going to see a little bit of what's going on here in terms of Flight Simulator's emulation of those conditions. You can see that we do have a little bit of haze out there across the runway here at BWI, so maybe that's going to be better, maybe that's going to be worse, I don't know, but we're going to find out. Regardless, we are cold and dark on the runway, which is not a good place to be cold and dark, so let us stop being cold and dark. Battery power is up, and our displays are going to be booting. You can see we've got a whole Christmas tree of error messages because, well, yeah, everything is off. However, we are about to start remedying that situation. Get fuel pumps started and get an APU ready to start. APU is cranking as far as I can see, and I hear it back there. We've got an IFR plan loaded up, as you can see. Going to be taking us due north up to the land of the frozen Canada North. Probably not so frozen today. Here the APU spooling up now, just waiting for an APU running indication here on the MFD. And then we'll bring the generators on the line. Alright, spool up has stopped. APU is running as far as I can tell. There are the gens. Alright, APU running. Hydraulic pressure system left and right. Obviously we have got ourselves... that's... hydraulics are going to be coming up. Electrical load. Alright, electrical up. AC buses on the engines. Obviously those generators are off. So I've got the faults on the hydraulics there. Yeah, so these are systems that are a little bit different relative to what they used to be on the standard 787, so these things are a little bit different. Some things to get used to. IRS, we can actually align the IRS if we want. We're not going to do that. Electrical system up in the cabin. And we're going to start engines. Start valves coming open on both engines. And we've got N2. Oil pressure coming up. Alright, oil pressure is in nominal range. There's 20% N2. Fuel valves coming open. And we got EGD coming up on both engines. We'll call that a light off. So far so good on both engines. Pretty sure that that is not the optimal engine start procedure. However, I don't much care. Crucify me in the comments if you must. Both engines giving running indications. And more error messages for the generators, which are going to come online now. Generators online, hydraulic systems coming online, faults are out. Okay. Landing lights are on. Markers and beacons are on. I'm going to turn off our DI systems for takeoff. Window heat is off. Yep. QNH is 29086. Arm auto brakes for RTO. Arm our speed brakes. Bring them to the arm detent. There we go. We're going to do a flaps 15 takeoff. Flaps are extending. And there we are. See, the flaps are coming out. See back here, the APU is running as well. See the heat haze coming out of the APU. Both engines are up and running stably. We already have received takeoff clearance off camera. Flight director is running. We'll keep that on for the moment. So engines are up, speed brakes are armed, auto brake armed, RTO. Landing lights are on, all of our external lights are on. APU is still running, we're going to keep that on for takeoff. Again, probably violating all sorts of SOPs. I don't much give a damn. Right, takes a little while to spool up the engines. Throttle rates are much reduced in this version of the 787 I have found, so we're going to ramp them up to toga power before we release our parking brakes, and we're ramping up. Engines are responding normally, and we're full throttle. There's our toga detent. Engines are up. Parking brake release. 3, 2, 1. Now we are rolling. Alright, airspeed's alive. 80 knots. 100 knots. 120. 130. 140. 150. V1, rotate. V2, positive rate. Gear up. Flaps coming to 10. Crosswind right off of the deck. That's fun. Getting some pretty significant frame hits here right off of the deck.
Boeing 601, contact Potomac departure on 128.7. Good day.
Roger.
128.7 for Boeing 601.
Just gonna fly the directors here for the time being. Flaps coming to 5. Throttle the engines back.
Passing 1,700 feet, climbing 7,000 feet. Boeing Foxtrot 601, Potomac departure altimeter 29.86. Continue to Swan as planned.
Right. Flaps 1. And flaps up. Going to shut down the APU. It's cool. APU coming down. Shut down our landing lights. Okay. Climb and maintain 17,000. Roger.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet, Boeing 601.
Alright, we're going to get rid of the HUD. Got the auto throttles on. Going to set up the autopilot here. 17,000.
13.2.55. Good day.
That is 132.55.
132.55 for Boeing 601.
Hello, Washington.
Washington Center, Boeing Foxtrot 601 is at 9,000 feet, climbing 17,000 feet.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Washington Center altimeter 29.88. Continue to Swan as planned.
Alright. That is not what I wanted to do.
Washington Center Airbus November 6687 Quebec is passing flight level 215, climbing flight level 240.
I did not mean to change my camera there. Don't know entirely how that happened.
7,000 feet.
But okay.
Airbus November 6687 Quebec Washington Center. Continue as planned. Climb and maintain 7,000 feet Cessna 75 Bravo.
Alright, so altitude. Altitude hold and give me LNAV. Okay. Yeah, 340 knots. Alright, well that little camera diversion was surely interesting, but so far so good. What is our icing condition out there going through some of the low cloud? Looks okay. Yeah, no buildup on the wings. Nothing on the vertical stab, nothing on the horizontal stab. Alright. Shouldn't really be needing anything there in terms of the anti-ice systems. And we're getting back into our climb now that we have achieved our commanded velocity. They've cleared us to 17,000 feet. Cruising altitude is to be determined. So we're going to be doing our little stepped climb thing here for the moment. Getting clearance to higher altitude at any time now.
Boeing 601
270.
climb and maintain flight level 270.
Climb and maintain flight level 270, Boeing 601.
Right, and a little bit of a left bank as we are coming onto our course northward.
Boeing 601, contact Washington Center on 132.05. Good day.
Going to 132.05, Boeing 601.
I was going to say, I like the new sounds on this airplane.
Washington Center, Boeing Foxtrot 601 is passing flight level 180, climbing flight level 270.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Washington Center. Continue to Oscar Delta as planned.
And our weather radar is looking at.
601, contact Washington Center on 125.45.
Alright, 125.45.
Going to 125.45, Boeing 601.
Alright, we're at standard QNH.
Washington Center Boeing Foxtrot 601 is passing flight level 190, climbing flight level 270.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Washington Center. Continue to Oscar Delta as planned.
Right, coming up on 20,000. Mark 20,000 feet. Again, they've cleared us up to 270, and then beyond that, we'll figure out where our cruising altitude is going to be. But so far, so good. And about 350 nautical miles to go to Montreal.
Cessna 059er, contact Washington Center on 132.05. Good day. One 132.05 for Cessna 059er.
You can see out to the east that we do have a substantial cloud bank. So I'm going to be taking a look at that, of course, and this, I believe, is southern end of... Is it the Delaware River at this point? Or are we a little bit too far south for that? Pull up our VFR map. Nope, that's the Delaware River. We are officially over New Jersey. Philadelphia is basically directly at our 12 o'clock. When we get to Oscar Delta, we'll be turning due north. We will be passing just to the west of Philadelphia Airport on the Pennsylvania side of the river. And we're actually beginning that turn right about now. Very cool. So we will be transferred over probably to New York Center at some point. There we are. Very nice. I gotta say, one of the reasons that I keep coming back to Flight Simulator, because on its face, it's a game that has no objective. There are no missions to do. Although that's changing. Microsoft, they announced Flight Simulator 2024.
Contact Washington Center on 132.5.
All right, back to work.
Good day.
132.525 for Boeing 601. Washington Center Boeing Foxtrot 601 is passing flight level 265, climbing flight level 270.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Washington Center. Continue as planned.
Can you give us a level change in a moment?
Boeing 601
330.
climb and maintain flight level 330.
Climb and maintain flight level 330, Boeing 601.
All right, pitching up again. There we go, 330. We're doing this step climb nonsense. However, as I was saying, before ATC rudely interrupted me with helpful information, Microsoft announced Flight Simulator 2024 a couple of weeks ago. What do I make of it? I think it's a little bit of a slap in the face to all of us who have, first of all of us who bought 2020 and who have been loyally supporting 2020 since its inception, because I really did and still do consider this game to be truly one of the best games ever made. And it's a little bit strange to say this because there is no objective to playing it. There are no goals for you to achieve. There are no missions. There's Philadelphia Airport, by the way. There are no missions. There are no things for you to do that will say, hey, good job, you did what we asked you to do, now here's your reward. Like, no. The whole point of the game is to fly around the world in these spectacularly complicated machines and just take in the sights. And that's all it ever needs to be, because it's absolutely tremendous.
On 124.625. Good day.
However, it seems with 2024 that they want to add a little bit more of a stereotypical gameplay element to the experience in terms of adding missions, things of this nature. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about all of that.
Center, Boeing Foxtrot 601 is at flight level 295, climbing flight level 330.
Boeing Foxtrot 601.
Just taking a look at the Philadelphia waterfront. Somewhere around here is the SS United States, the last great American liner. Yes, I am like a caffeinated squirrel. I can't hold my attention on any one thing for more than 10 seconds at a time. I am looking, those of you who know my proclivities, I am looking for the mooring site of the battleship USS New Jersey, someplace along here. A little bit too far away for it to render, I think. Oh well. We are contrailing now, as you can readily see. We are getting frame hits again. Not happy about that.
Center, Beechcraft November 569er, 1 Victor flight level 220. Beechcraft November 569er, 1 Victor New York Center. Continue as planned.
Still got the caution and warning for the window heat. Not worried about it because, as you can see, we are well above the clouds. At any point, we have dialed in flight level 330. We'll be getting clearance to higher altitude shortly, I am altogether sure.
Diamond November 6108 Uniform New York Center altimeter 29.85. Continue as planned.
Ground speed is 520 knots and continuing to accelerate at this point. We got Montreal on our 320 scope. We ain't that far out, really. But you can see that the cloud deck is starting to stack up ahead of us. Peer over the nose a little bit, and you can see a little bit more clearly down to the ground anyway. Seems like we're going to have this pretty solid cloud deck all the way up. Not that we can see 320 nautical miles away at this point, but pretty far.
Boeing 601, please expedite your climb flight level 330.
I'm at 32.7. I'm literally...
Boeing 601,
Wow.
and maintain flight level 390.
Climb and maintain flight level 390 going 601.
Sometimes the ATC in this game really gets on my nerves.
New York Center, JMB Aviation, November 1926, Mike 9,000 feet.
Maybe that's something that we're going to be addressing with FS24. Again, it seems like that they're trying to get the game a little bit more oriented toward mission-based things, a little bit of a career progression perhaps, which is not altogether far into the Flight Simulator series. I do remember missions, actually I remember missions all the way back from Flight Simulator 98. Dating myself quite a bit here, but I remember that there was one mission in Flight Simulator 98 where you... well, were they missions or were they just scenarios? But whatever they were, I remember in Flight Simulator 98 there was one situation that you could be in where you were observing the volcanic eruption of Kilauea in Hawaii, and there was this lava fountain that they had rendered, and of course nowadays it looks basically like a wireframe render, but in those days it looked absolutely tremendous, getting the 3 frames per hour that most computers were able to render, but it looked great at the time. And I just remember it was so cool and challenging because I think the scenario was based in a helicopter, so that was difficult. But I remember it was cool. So these missions, these scenarios are not entirely far into the Flight Simulator series. There were also missions, I believe, in Flight Simulator 2000, if not 2002. I remember there was some mission, again, in a helicopter where you had to transport the President of the United States. It was just a way for them to showcase their 3D rendered buildings in Washington, D.C. area. But these things have existed in the past, and obviously they will exist again. So it is not without precedent for this series. I just hope that it doesn't detract from the open world aspect of the game, because obviously that's what I like, that's what most people like, because again, there is no real objective to this game other than fly around and take a look at the world, because that's what we're doing.
Airbus 10 Tango, contact New York Center on 133.15. Good day.
Coming up on flight level 370, or 390 is what we've ordered in.
133.15.
360 coming up.
Tango. Boeing 601, contact New York Center on
Roger.
133.15.
133.15.
133.15 Boeing 601.
Another thing that they could improve here, AI can be employed for the air traffic control. That would be cool. Because what I would like to be able to have here is to have the AI actually be providing the infrastructure for an adaptive air traffic control, because all of this stuff is just obviously preloaded phrases that it says. But if I were to, say, be able vocally to give a request to ATC and then have ATC take into account what's going on around it and then give me a response tailored to my request, that would be really cool. And I think that's possible now with some of the AI language models. If you have a good text-to-speech synthesizer in there, I think that could be a thing. Do we have something on the weather radar? Yeah, look at this. Interesting. Some precip down there, perhaps. Can we still see the ground outside? Yep. Still can. Are we still... Yes, we are still contrailing. I was thinking maybe we were no longer contrailing, which would be interesting considering our altitude, but we still are. and we are over eastern Pennsylvania as far as I can divine. Take a look at the almighty map. Yep, basically right on the border between northern New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. Up in the Warren County, New Jersey area. Appalachian Trail runs through these parts. Also someplace around these parts, obscured by the cloud cover, Pocono Raceway, the tricky triangle as it were. One of my favorite places in the world. Unfortunately, North America's premier racing series no longer goes there. Flight level 410, Boeing 601, roger.
Climb and maintain flight level for 10 Boeing 601.
See, I would like to be able to say that to air traffic control verbally, and then have some AI protocol say whether or not, my readback was correct and things like that, but whatever. But as far as I can tell, everything is good on board our airplane. General status, good. Gives us our, yep, minus 50 C outside. Turns to the APU exhaust temperature. Yep, air temperature outside minus 49. Cool. Electrical system. Yep, main buses are good. APU gens are off, obviously. External power is off, as one would expect. Hydraulics, good. Fuel system, as you would expect. Altitude capture coming in at 410. Air status, 24C in the cabin. Fuel. Doors are all closed, gears up, and our tire pressures are here too. With our nitrogen system, obviously. Trim for rudder elevator, as well as our spoilers. So our flaperons and ailerons. Not available, maintenance not available. CB, whatever that means, not available. So, that's cool. Cabin altitude is 6,000, perfectly fine. Delta P is 9.1. Landing altitude is 100 feet. Auto. So, in other words, Delta P means the change in pressure inside relative to outside. So, it is 9 psi higher ambient pressure in the cabin than it is outside at our current environment. Standard atmosphere at sea level is 14.7 psi, or for those of you in Europe, 1. So obviously you can see the difference there. Survivable time at this altitude.
01, contact Boston Center on 13 decimal.
Boston, they're sending me to Boston.
Good day.
All right.
133.25 for Boeing 601.
Hello, Boston. Go Red Sox.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 flight level 410.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Boston Center. Continue to Ode B as planned.
Ode B. Well, at least they're actually pronouncing the names of the VORs rather than saying Oscar Delta Echo Bravo Yankee.
Boston Center, Cessna November 459er, 69er, 8,100 feet.
However,
November 459er, 69er.
as I was saying with our
decimal 81
Delta P,
as planned.
survivable time at this altitude would be measured in minutes. Time of useful consciousness would be measured in single seconds at this point. 41,000 feet, you will be consciously aware of your consciousness for probably less than 10 seconds. You will be conscious to any extent for probably less than 15 to 20 seconds. And unless you are returned to lower altitude within a couple of minutes, you will be dead in a couple of minutes from effectively suffocation because oxygen deprivation. Air is a lot thinner up here. The engines here are still able to breathe pretty effectively because they're just huge, first of all. Notice modern jet engines are pretty damn big. And that is not only for reasons of bypass, but it's also for reasons of just air scavenging, because the higher you go, the less oxygen is available here because the air is thinner, air density is less, which is why we're doing indicated 266 knots, but our ground speed is 531 knots, because airspeed measurement is a function of air pressure. So the higher you go, the less available air there is, the less pressure there is. Above 50,000 feet, you're in the realm of your blood boils if you're exposed directly to that environment. So when you, and I mean, it's a little strange to think of it this way now, but when you study historical aeronautics, again, it sounds so strange to say that, but historically, outer space, the first established boundary of outer space, as far as I'm aware, was actually set at 50,000 feet above sea level. Because at that altitude, you might as well be in outer space, because your survivability time, outright, not just useful consciousness time, but your survivability time is measured in single seconds, just as it would be in space proper, now established at the Kármán line of 62 miles or 100 kilometers. So, believe it or not, there are some people who are officially considered astronauts, people who were awarded astronaut wings by the United States Air Force because they exceeded 50,000 feet in level flight.
Cessna 969er traffic alert. 10 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 7,200 feet, Cessna 152. Report them in sight.
Nowadays, though, we have to remember that people like William Shatner are astronauts. That's an equally weird thing to consider. But we're leveled out here at 41,000. I don't have any need to ascend or descend. I'm just going to hang out here. About 160 nautical miles out from our next major maneuver.
Cessna Tree 0 Delta descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
So we've just passed Odeby. And
78 Charlie contact New York Center on 1 tree decimal tree 5.
yeah, Habs is our next one. So we are not going to be seeing any course correction until we get to Habs.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet, Cessna Tree 0 Delta.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed.
1 tree decimal tree 5, Beechcraft 78 Charlie. Cessna 026 contact Boston Center on 1 tree for decimal tree. Good day. One tree, 4 decimal tree for Cessna 026.
Everything here is still looking absolutely copacetic. Working no problems on the airplane. No unexpected error indications. And just hanging around outside, yeah. As we had conjectured, a fairly unbroken cloud deck. I mean, yes, you can see down to the ground in some spots, but, yeah. Nimbocumulus clouds, I would call these. Perhaps working into nimbostratus later on. We'll see. And then a higher cloud deck out there, but that's not going to affect us because directly overhead is, yeah, the great beyond. So that's cool. The external model of the 787 has also gotten a little bit of a facelift. You can see here the shut line between the radome and the fuselage is a bit different. I like that. And just generally, I think things have been cleaned up a little bit around the cockpit windows and all of that stuff. But looks good, looks good. Our pilot in command is, yep. That's actually pretty good continuity as far as they're concerned, because obviously I've got the female pilot voice going for whatever reason. Oh, you can see the HUD through the windscreen too. That's trippy. Huh. Attention to detail. Good job, Asobo. But yeah, we've got our female pilot flying, and we have our male pilot monitoring, who generally would be working the radios. So again, why do we have a female pilot voice? I don't know. Control issues? Maybe. I have control issues. No, that's not a sexist joke. I'm a man and I have control issues. So okay, maybe our maybe our pilot in command has control issues too. But whatever.
Airbus 729er, you are 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 270. Cessna Tree 0 Delta contact Boston Center on 121.35. Good day. Descend and maintain flight level 270.
I'm going to be expecting at any time now to be getting vectors for an approach, as well as obviously descent orders. So our transition point is this Hobbs VOR. So that's fine. Yeah, we've got no transition point selected there. Okay, we'll just keep going. Perhaps we'll do a bit of a course change over to there later on. We'll just roughly get it into the area of where we're going to have to be if we're going to be making a manual course correction. We'll see.
Boeing 601, contact Boston Center on 135.25. Good day.
Boston is sending me to another part of Boston.
Going to 135.25, Boeing 601. Boston Center, Boeing Foxtrot 601, flight level 410.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Boston Center. Continue to Avon as planned.
Cool.
Cessna Echo Mike Whiskey traffic alert. 11 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 7,500 feet, Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
Again, wondering if they're going to vector me or if we're going to have to do this manually. Give it another few minutes because we're about 80 nautical miles out from that transition VOR. And then we'll see what happens next. Gonna be a fun one. I don't recall having a situation like this prior.
Boeing 601 descend and maintain flight level 290.
290, okay, can do that.
Descend and maintain flight level 290, Boeing 601.
There we are. Do it. Pull the throttles back. Nice. Idle. Nah, there's an overspeed indication, just... Yeah. Give me some speed brake. Give me some more speed brake. We are absolutely dropping like a rock at 12,000 feet per minute. Everybody in the cabin is weightless at this point. That's probably a bit of a bug that they need to work out. All right. It's a little bit weird. So now that everybody got the the free zero-G experience, we went from 41,000 feet to 29,000 feet in about 30 seconds. That had to be terrifying, but it's what we were told to do, and the airplane just did it. Okay. Yep, just give me 350 and hold it there. That had to be just absolutely terrifying for everybody in the cabin. Wow. Okay. Delta P is now 7.2. And the thicker cloud deck is now coming underneath us.
Boston Center, JMB Aviation, November 419er 548,000 feet. JMB Aviation, November 419er 5 for Boston Center altimeter 29er.78, continue as planned.
Still don't know if these people are going to vector us, or if we're going to be having to do this manually.
Boeing 601 descend and maintain flight level 210.
210. Okay, let's see if we can break the world record for fastest speed in a dive. I am aware that we need to acknowledge that.
Please acknowledge.
Descend and maintain flight level 210, Boeing 601.
Right. Yep. Just start descent wherever you can and bring us back up to 340. Ultimately, who cares? What we really need is some vectoring, because we are about to level ourselves out with this Hobbs beacon, and we are zip here on our next waypoint display. Not entirely sure what to make of all that mess.
Boeing 601, contact Montreal Center on 1 tree for decimal 9er75. Good day.
Going to 1 tree.
Let's
for
see
decimal
if the
9er75,
Canadurps
Boeing
tell us
601.
anything. Bonjour, Montréal.
Montreal Center, Boeing Foxtrot 601 is passing flight level 270, descending flight level 210.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Montreal Center. Continue to Avon as planned.
Where the hell is that? Y'all haven't told me where that is. Okay. Alpha, Victor, Oscar, November. Where the actual hell? Oh, dear God. Are we... We're kind of screwed now, aren't we? Okay. Christ almighty. Let's vector ourselves. All right, there goes our right turn.
Montreal Center, Boeing Foxtrot 601 requesting vector to next waypoint.
Boeing 601.
110. Okay.
Turning and following heading 110, resume on navigation.
Continue to Avon turning and following, heading 110, resume on navigation, Boeing 601.
Okay, so I had the right idea. Just would have been nice if they told me. And this is what I mean about the ATC needing some work. Seems like this cloud deck is breaking up, though. Very welcome. Outstar, Airbus terminology. Yeah, take your overspeed warning and shove it. We're about to level off.
Boeing 601, descend and maintain 9,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet, Boeing 601.
All right.
Boeing 601, contact Montreal Center on 132.85. Good day.
Going to 132.85, Boeing 601.
It is no longer over 9,000. Sorry to say. Yeah, we gotta get down quickly. Have we officially crossed the border into Canada? Yeah, I think we have, or damn near to it. Yep, we have done. Bienvenue à Canada, as they would say here in Quebec. Alright, let's start to get ourselves configured for landing. Auto brake do. Take a look and see what the hell we're doing. Alright, speed brakes, take them back to armed. Yeah, I hear you. thinking that we might just want to do this manually from this point on.
Montreal Center, Boeing Foxtrot, 6019,000 feet.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Montreal Center altimeter 29.7 tree. Continue to Zolta as planned.
Zolta, okay.
Boeing 601, you are 19 miles southwest. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 06 left approach.
All right.
Boeing 601
3,000 feet.
and maintain 3,000 feet. Boeing 601, you are 18 miles southwest of Dorval. Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Contact tower on 1 tree 4.15.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Tower on 1 tree for decimal 15 Boeing 601.
Again, following the ATC as we tried to do, it just doesn't work.
Tower Boeing Foxtrot 60116.
Hello, Montreal. How are ya?
Southwest inbound ILS runway 06 left approach.
Boeing Foxtrot 601 Tower.
Cleared ILS runway 06 left.
7 tree, wind 184 at 6. Cleared ILS runway 06 left approach.
All right.
Cleared ILS runway 06 left approach Boeing 601.
Got some rain on the windshield. Breaking through the cloud deck. It's a bit of a mess on approach here. We do have a DME capture. Let's see if we can actually tell this thing to hold the approach. Rolling out a little bit. Could be consistent with our commanded heading. Auto throttles are active. I have the runway in sight. Flaps 1. All right. Okay, autopilot is actually starting to do something here. That's good. Give me flaps. Give me flaps. Hello. There we go. Flaps 5. Clear to land.
Wind 184 at 6. Clear to land runway 06 left.
Clear to land runway 06 left Boeing 601.
We're not descending though. That's a problem. All right. Screw you. Screw you, auto throttle. Screw you, autopilot. Goodbye. Yeah, I know.
2,500.
Checked. We are landing. Gear coming. Give me flaps 15. Alright. Spoilers armed. Flap 17. We are unstabilized. We are too high.
1,000.
We will momentarily be too fast. But we are going to land because, yeah, what choice do we have? Gear down and locked. Gear touchdown, spoilers are out, thrust reversers are out, nose gear touchdown. Auto brakes are running good. Alright, reversers off. Auto brake disengaged. Next turn off is the one we will use.
Boeing 601 exit runway when able.
What an absolute mess. It was not at all what I wanted.
Boeing 601, contact ground on 122.075.
I mean, at least we had an okay touchdown, but I mean, everything else about that localizer and glide slope intercept was just terrible. Yikes.
122.075 for Boeing 601.
Flaps up. Well, at least we were able to navigate here more or less. Got our APU started. Keenly aware that we are breaking all of the speed limits in terms of ground speed. The amount I care is immeasurably small. Alright, crossing a runway, yep. Alright, we got an open gate, let's just park here. Thrust reversers into the gate. How about that? We are just barely still creeping forward. Give it a little bit more thrust. Give me brakes. Wheel stop. Okay. APU gens on the line. External power is also available. We'll plug that in. We'll shut down our engine gens first. And spoilers are off. Engines are off. Flaps already retracted. Engines are spooling down. Okay. Next, we'll be able to shut down our lights because our APU is now offline. Right. Next. Shut down our fuel pumps. Hydraulic buses. Shut down the battery, because we've got external power. Give me ground services. Yes. Go ahead and connect the jetway. S'il vous plaît.
Montreal ground Boeing Foxtrot 601. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Boeing Foxtrot 601, the jetway is going to be connected.
Beautiful. Give me baggage service and then
Montreal
catering.
ground Boeing Foxtrot 601. Could you please send the baggage?
Boeing Foxtrot 601 baggage is on the way.
Montreal ground Boeing Foxtrot 601. Could you please send the catering truck?
Boeing Foxtrot 601, the catering truck is on the road.
Nice. So we got our baggage hold open. Got our rear door open for the catering services. I do sincerely hope that everybody on board is okay after their impromptu zero-G experience. We dropped... Dear, we dropped about 15,000 feet in a minute. Had to be a little harrowing. Regardless, we're here. We made it. Somehow. Again, we were able to navigate pretty well. Problem is, for whatever reason, ATC just never vectored us, so if we didn't request a vector, we would never have received one. So, again, for whatever they want to do with FS-24, fix that, please. But we're here in Canada. That's some rain. That's actually really cool effect. But, yep, we're here. We're inside the jetway now. Yeah. It's a Kafka-esque jetway. There's no way in or out. You're just in it. And you can't get into your airplane unless you morph through the wall. How about that? Cool. But, yep, that's where we are. Everything is good with the airplane. We're secured. We're not on center line in terms of the taxiway markers. But I don't much care. Because we did what we set out to do. I didn't see any untoward effects from the fires going on in northeastern Canada. I actually saw more haze back down at Baltimore than we had up here. Apart from a little bit of rain coming through that cloud deck below 9,000 feet, everything is okay. So, yeah, we're alive. We're in Montreal, and yeah, 787 is a cool airplane. Until next time, for Ironman 601 saying thank you very much for watching, and of course, we will see you soon.